Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE. The local bourse had seemed to come back from the Workers' Day holiday today on a rather flat note. And of course, at some point, we saw a gain of more than 0.25%. But we have now seen it sinking back into the red with the all-share declining 0.04%. We do see the Resources 10 complex there carrying most of the losses that we are seeing there, declining almost 1.5%. Financial 15 relatively flat, just 0.02% below that flat line. But backing that overall trend is the Industrial 25 there with an advancement of more than 0.8%. Let's take a look at what is happening stateside, and of course their investors on Wall Street still digesting the Fed's latest interest rate decision. Of course, we did have the rates being kept on hold with the commentary coming out of Fed Chair Jerome Powell being that inflation is still too high for them to start talking about interest rate hikes. And of course, we did see Amazon yesterday coming out with earnings there, coming out with an earnings beat. Today we do have Apple coming out with results after the bell. A sea of green over there though. S&P 500 up more than 0.33%, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq climbing 0.7%, and the Dow ticking up by almost 0.5%. Let's take a look at what is happening with markets across the Atlantic. Quite a mixed picture over there. Of course, we also do have those markets digesting some company earnings. We did have the German fashion retailer Hugo Boss actually coming out with that share price under pressure as it spoke of a weaker demand outlook. But on the other side of the spectrum, we saw Danish jewelry company Pandora coming in with investors plowing into that stock as it raised its outlook. The FTSE 100 being the only bourse in the green there, greening by almost 0.7%. The CAC 40 though under pressure by almost 0.7%, and the DAX declining 0.06%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene, and we start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A little bit of weakness coming through to the rand against the US dollar, standing at 18.62 rand against the pound at 23.21 rand, and against the euro at 19.92 rand. Let's take a look at what is happening with the other currency pairs, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.06, pound dollar at 1.24, and the yen strengthening against the US dollar just above 150, or just below 154 against that currency.